And this is a picture of my parents.
That was actually at the Hilton Hotel in Las Vegas.
My idea of going for a drink was to go to a pub, get as much poured down my neck as I could, and stumble out. That was my idea of a drink.
I just have a lot of memories of him being drunk. Fucking just random shit. You know, fucking driving cars across fields and crashing them in the middle of the night and stuff like that. It's not good for family life, really, you know.
Most people know the legend, the Prince of Darkness, the bat-biting madman, the reality TV patriarch who became a global icon. But every legend has an origin story, and every origin story has characters that get written out of the final version. This is about the woman who was there before the storm, and the hidden children who grew up in its silent shadow. This is the story of Ozzy Osbourne's first family. A tale of quiet sacrifice, immense regret, and a side of fame that fans rarely ever get to see. Long before the mansions and the mayhem, Ozzy was just John Osbourne, a working-class kid from Birmingham with a loud voice and big dreams. And by his side was Thelma Mayfair, his childhood sweetheart. They married in 1971, a pair of young kids in love, completely unaware of the hurricane that was about to hit their lives. Thelma wasn't a groupie or a fan, she was a partner. She took a job as a secretary, bringing home a steady paycheck, while John and his new band, Black Sabbath, played grimy, half-empty clubs for pennies. She was the anchor, the stability during those turbulent years when the very sound of heavy metal was being forged in the factories of their city. She believed in him when absolutely no one else did. But that belief was about to be tested in ways she could never have possibly imagined. The band's rise wasn't gradual, it was explosive. Almost overnight, their dark, sludgy sound captured the angst of a generation. They went from playing pubs to touring the world, and with that journey came the notorious rock star lifestyle. The alcohol became a constant crutch, the substances a mandatory accessory, and the concept of fidelity completely vanished on the road. Thelma wasn't just losing her husband to another woman. She was losing him to an entire persona, a monster of addiction and fame that the quiet boy she married simply could not control. The very success she helped support, the dream she nurtured, was now the very force systematically tearing her life apart. The foundation she built was crumbling beneath her. By 1971, it was over. The divorce was finalized not with a dramatic public explosion, but with a quiet, heartbreaking whimper. Thelma exited Ozzy's story as quietly as she entered it, accepting a financial settlement and walking away from the madness for good. But in the world of rock and roll, power vacuums are quickly filled. And into that void stepped a force of nature, Sharon Osbourne. The daughter of Black Sabbath's notoriously ruthless manager, Don Arden, Sharon was Thelma's polar opposite. She wasn't a supportive wife, she was a strategic mastermind. Sharp, ambitious, and completely unafraid of the darkness within Ozzy, she didn't just become his new partner. She became his manager, his savior from creative oblivion, and the architect of his solo superstardom. The era of the quiet, supportive wife was unequivocally over. The era of the superstar had officially begun. But Thelma and Ozzy's marriage left behind a living legacy. 2 children, a son, Elliot, and a daughter, Jessica. While their half-siblings, Kelly and Jack, were being raised under the blinding glare of the MTV spotlight, becoming celebrities in their own right, Elliot and Jessica were living a life of deliberate and total obscurity. Their mother raised them away from the chaos, the cameras, and the headlines. There was no reality show drama, no tabloid scandals. They lived a life of enforced normalcy, a world away from the circus their biological father headlined. Elliot would eventually find his own path into the music industry as a producer and musician, but entirely on his own terms, operating from the shadows. Jessica pursued a career in photography, mastering the art of capturing the world through a lens while expertly avoiding being captured by it herself. They were the forgotten Osbournes, known to only the most dedicated of fans. For decades, the relationship between Ozzy and his first two children was practically non-existent. It was a fracture built not on loud arguments, but on a profound, echoing silence and a devastating absence. Ozzy himself has been brutally honest about his failures in his autobiography, admitting he was a ghost of a father to them, consumed by shame and regret. He's told stories of seeing photographs of young children and not even realizing he was looking at his own son and daughter. The man who could command an audience of millions was, to them, a phantom. A famous stranger who shared their DNA, but none of their daily lives. It was a hidden regret that festered for years, a wound that seemed too old and too deep to ever truly heal. This created a stunning, almost surreal, public paradox. For years, the world was invited into the Osbourne home every single week through their hit reality show. We saw the chaotic love, the loud arguments, the glamorous dysfunction of life with Sharon, Jack, and Kelly. They became, for all intents and purposes, America's family. But all the while, two of Ozzy's actual children were living completely separate, anonymous lives, watching their father play a dad on television to a family that wasn't theirs. It was a glaring contradiction that most viewers never even noticed, a secret hiding in plain sight. Where were the other Osbourne children? The question lingered for those who knew to ask. Naturally, this decades-long silence has fueled a ton of speculation and rumors online. Fans have theorized for years about a secret, deeper rift. Did Sharon, the formidable manager, actively keep the first family at a distance to protect the brand? Or did Elliot and Jessica themselves want absolutely nothing to do with the chaotic world of fame and simply choose to opt out? The truth is likely messy and complicated, but recently, eagle-eyed fans have noticed subtle hints that suggest a potential, slow-moving thaw. After a lifetime of no public interaction, Ozzy and his daughter Jessica now follow each other on social media. A tiny, but significant, digital olive branch. Meanwhile, Elliot has been known to subtly incorporate his father's musical motifs into his own work, a quiet, artistic nod to the legacy he's connected to by blood. It's not a public reconciliation, but it suggests the doors of communication, closed for so long, might finally be creaking open. Ozzy Osbourne's life is a tale of two starkly different acts. Thelma was there for the brutal, honest beginning, the struggle and the raw creation of an icon. Sharon was there for the glorious, chaotic maintenance of the legend itself. His first children represent the ordinary life, the quiet family man that was ultimately sacrificed at the altar of unimaginable fame. His second family became the global symbol of that very fame. The hidden regret isn't just about a failed first marriage. It's about the two children who grew up in the long, silent shadow he cast, a permanent reminder of the man he was before he became the icon the world knows. It makes you wonder, with all the screaming fans, the platinum records, and the adulation, if the thing the Prince of Darkness thinks about most in his quietest moments isn't the noise, but the silence of the two children he barely got a chance to know. But what do you think? Was this estrangement a tragic but inevitable price of his incredible fame, or a deep personal failure that could have been reconciled much, much sooner? Let me know your perspective down in the comments below. And if you want to uncover more hidden stories from the world of music that everyone else has forgotten, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We're just getting started.